Okay, so I'm here with Miss Trinitee Stokes, and she is a world changer. She has been doing so many things, and she's so young. Are you turning 14 soon?
Yes, I'm actually turning 14 on Easter.
Oh, awesome. Congratulations. And,
Thank you.
and you will just be 14, but you already have been an actor, a fashion designer, an author, and what else have you done?
International speaker.
Wow.
And then in the meantime, just a regular student.
We here at Redemption Youth really believe in just seeing the youth express greatness in their lives now and not waiting until they're older. Could you tell us a little bit of your story of just how you got on this journey?
Yes, so when I was 3 years old, I was watching That's So Raven, and I told my mom, I was like, hey, I want to do that. So ever since I was 3, we basically just hit the ground running because God gave us the message that this was my purpose and this is what I was supposed to do. So when I was 5, I went on stage in my mom's theater's play and I stole the show and I had a blast. I found that that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to make people laugh through a new craft that I had just found. So I think that's where it really kind of clicked for me that being on stage is what I wanted to do. And then I started off doing commercials, and then we moved here to California. When I was 7.5, I just turned 8, I believe. And then I booked KC Undercover without any television experience. And God has really just been working in my life ever since.
I was reading your biography and I saw that your mom writes plays.
Yes.
And she wrote a part for you.
Yes.
Just starting out. And I think that's really awesome because I feel like that's like God, how God has a part for his children and puts a place for them to step into. And I thought that was really awesome.
Yes, I totally agree. I think everything and everybody in my life has just so been like perfectly orchestrated. So I think it's very awesome that my mom just so happens to be a writer and an author as well. So she's been able to kind of help me with the creative side as well.
And also how I love how you discovered your purpose, and you were saying that it wasn't that you wanted to be famous. It wasn't that you wanted to have like a huge platform just for you. It was because that person made you feel something good and you wanted to do that for somebody else, that you wanted to serve with your talent. And I think that's just awesome.
Right, most definitely. I know a lot of people get into acting or any career to chase fame or climb ladders or anything like that. But being well known was most definitely not on my to-do list. That was not the end goal for me, though it's great to have the accolades to go with it. I wanted to make people laugh, and I still want to just inspire people and allow them to be able to kind of take their mind off of whatever their situation is and to travel to whatever character I might be playing at that time.
Awesome. Can I ask you about that journey, about how you went through auditions and went through probably a bunch of rejections? I was reading that initially when you went to New York, they were saying we can't cast you because of your Southern accent.
Right. I know, that was the craziest thing. I feel like any journey, but especially mine, is full of a little bit of rejection. Like you mentioned, when I did go to New York, they were like, no, we can't hire you for anything because of your accent. But instead of just giving up, when we left New York, we actually went back to Mississippi and we started packing up our home. Because we said, okay, God has given us the purpose and we know that he's going to give us the means. So we're moving to California.
And they were all in, your parents were all in with you for this.
All in. And I have to say, my parents are absolutely fabulous. They dropped everything that they had, all of our family and our friends in Mississippi, and also our friends and our family. Some of them were so supportive, so that helped as well.
Did you ever talk to your parents recently about that? Like just how they came to that decision to say, let's just do it?
Yeah, not too long ago, actually. I was saying like, wow, thank you guys so much for really just coming with me on this journey, because I'm sure lots of kids tell their parents that, hey, I want to do this, but not many parents actually say, okay, you want to do this, let's figure out how to actually make it happen.
That's so awesome. While I'm reading your story, I'm so impressed with your family and how they did that. That's just so great.
They're great. I mean, they're fabulous. And I think what makes it even better is that our decisions that we've made, they're not impulse driven, is that they're guided based on God. And I think that's what's been able to get us to where we are right now is because we move by faith, we live by faith. Faith started us off, and faith is gonna end us.
Awesome. That's amazing. Could you talk about your process of how you go about seeing things in faith and dreams and how you take that from dreams to reality?
Yes, so my process is I love to nap, so I dream a lot. um, so when I get a dream that I can tell that's not just a figment of my imagination or is a download straight from God, I immediately write it down. And then when I write it down, I tell my parents, and then we automatically go to research and we figure out what we can do to make it happen and what's the most approachable way to basically achieve that goal.
Awesome. And I heard you did that exact process for when you wanted to be a fashion designer. Could you tell us that story real quick?
Yeah, so I've always been in love with fashion. I even when we were going through old pictures saw like outfits that my dad and I had created for like birthday parties or things like that of mine. But fashion has always been a passion of mine, but it really started to kick in when I couldn't find things in the stores that either didn't quite fit right or they weren't quite my style, so I would always have to get them and add things to them. So when I decided that I wanted to make my own fashion, we immediately went online and we found a fashion camp that was in our area, and I started creating, and that's where I created my first two fashion designs.
Not only do you do fashion, I know you are a gospel singer and you have a song called Win Now.
Yes, so I'm a pop singer as well, but because I am Christian, I cannot hide my love for Jesus. So thus, I do actually find myself writing lots of gospel songs as well. But When Now is my first single. I think I published it when I was maybe about like eight or nine. But a couple years ago, I actually released Miss Me as well, which is basically just a motivational song as well.
What is Win Now talk about and what does Miss Me talk about?
Win Now basically talks about winning now, being able to kind of shift your mindset and being able to realize that no matter where you are, you're able to win now and you have the ability to win now and the capability as well. And Miss Me basically talks about how if someone in your life is not helping you on your journey or they're toxic for you and they're not really positive people, you can just tell them to leave out of your life, because if they can't help you, through the process, then they definitely can't help you in the end result.
Awesome. Just on that really quickly, I saw there's a question in your book, do you have a boyfriend right now? And your answer was, and what was the reason why?
Oh my gosh, I feel like that is the most asked question I get, and it makes no sense. It's no, of course I do not have a boyfriend, do not want a boyfriend. It does not make sense.
Yes.
I am way too busy for a boyfriend, definitely setting my heights on God, my goals, school for sure. So no, don't have a boyfriend. There's no need for that in my life right now.
Preach, Trinity, keep going.
I mean, I just think now is the time to kind of focus on your foundations and like your groundings, having friends and learning and things like that. Not the time for a boyfriend.
Thank you. That was awesome. Definitely going to be sharing that. I wanted to ask you about bullying and haters and how you deal with that, especially with your exposure as it grew. Like what kind of voices came into your life and how you dealt with that?
Yeah, as I have positive voices in my life as well, there's definitely the same amount of negative voices as well. Not too long ago, actually last week, someone came on my live and they started saying tons of negative things about me and calling me out of my name and bullying me. And it just took a minute for me to just snap out of that and just switch my mind to realize that, hey, no, I have to remember what God says about me, and I have to remember what I know about me to be true. So I can't just automatically accept what someone else says about me just because they're what I hear right now.
Have you ever had times where you were like wondering, can I do this? Am I supposed to be doing what I'm doing?
Yeah, for sure. I know when I initially booked Casey Undercover, which was my first show, I definitely had a handful of those thoughts because it was my first show, because I was the youngest cast member. I wasn't quite sure what I was getting into, and because it was a dream of mine that I wanted for so long, I didn't want to mess it up or anything like that. So I definitely had those thoughts of, can I do this? Will I mess it up? Am I going to be good? Are people going to like me? But like I said, I have such a great support system, so they were able to kind of help me get those thoughts out of my head.
That really quickly about your friends and family. So we talked about your family, but what kind of friends do you have and what are they like? What do they do for you?
I have great friends. Friends are something that I pray about a lot because they're the people that you go to talk to and you have fun with. So you want to make sure that they're, for the most part, on the same page as you. But I don't have a large friend group. I think it's better to have a smaller amount of quality friends and a large amount of friends that aren't as positive. But my friends and I, we play games, we talk, we chat, but we're definitely there to support each other and help each other out when times get tough, for sure.
What are you doing in this quarantine to keep that friendship strong?
Oh my gosh, we have been FaceTiming so much with me and my friends. We've been FaceTiming, playing games and things like that, like on the computer. But we've been definitely becoming inventive. So I think this quarantine is definitely helping us all be more creative. So tap into ways that we can connect, going back to writing letters, things like that. So it's crazy.
How do you stay humble and grounded?
So staying humble and grounded, I think, was the very first big thing of mine that I had to grasp. I had to grasp that really, really quickly, because if not, I was going to all go to my head and I was going to come crashing down, which is something that I did not want. But I don't really like to use the term famous, because then, you start getting in your head and start thinking that you're better than people. So I just like to use the term well known. And I just think that being humble is so important, because then you're able to just see that, hey, you're not some big person that's all high and mighty and that's above the law or anything like that. You're just a person that's been afforded a lot of great opportunities. So that's how I like to view myself, and my friends and family definitely help keep me humble.
These are the last questions that I wanted to do really quickly. What is your favorite food?
Pizza. I love pizza.
Are you still getting a lot of pizza right now during the quarantine and stuff?
I think we've had like one fast food pizza, but we actually make a lot of cauliflower pizza with like cauliflower crust. So we try to keep it as healthy as possible, but love a good crust.
What are you listening to? What's your favorite music to listen to, and who?
My favorite music right now, it might be like J.P. Cooper or Louis Capaldi. I listen to them a lot when I'm doing my homework. But like when I go to bed or when I'm winding down, I definitely listen to Hillsong.
Best makeup tip for the ladies?
Please take your makeup off before you go to bed. Oh my gosh, there have been so many nights where I was like, no, I don't want to take it off. Then I wake up, I have makeup all over my pillow and my blankets. It's not worth it. Just take it off.
Who's your favorite Bible character and why?
I would probably say Esther, just because it was a time between Esther and Job. Esther, just because she was able to kind of, in a time of toughness, in a rough patch of time, she was able to stand up for her community and kind of do what was unexpected and kind of reach over what people thought she could do, and totally change the game for women, I think. And then Job, just because he was able to kind of persevere, and even when his friends were telling him one thing, he was able to say, no, I know the truth and God knows the truth. He was able to kind of pick through what his friends were saying.
Wow, those are some very mature choices and reasonings. Thank you. I'm so impressed by you. What can we do to follow you?
Thank you so much. So definitely on Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, and TikTok, we have Trinitee Stokes, TriniteeStokes. Monday through Friday at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, we have live trivia. I know Pastor Matt had a blast.
It's hard.
And they weren't even that hard. We were going to give you some harder questions.
It's super hard.
And then on Sundays, we have a special edition of Bible Trivia at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And also on YouTube as well, I'm starting a new YouTube series called Poppin', so make sure that you guys check that out as well.
Awesome. Thank you, Trinitee. You are so amazing. We're so inspired by you. Thank you for checking in with us, and we are going to be following you and see what you're going to be doing next in your journey.
My pleasure. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me. Hey guys, it's Trinitee Stokes here. So I just wanted to let all of you guys know that I love you, and even though times might be tough right now, you might be trying to figure out what to do during this time, I just want you guys to know that this is a great time to find your purpose, find out what you want to do in life, and I just want to let you guys know that I love you and God loves you, and don't forget it.